Hey everyone, today I'm going to be making a video on something I research frequently but I don't see often is a video of all of Oshun's paths, Caminos, or avatars you can call them. Um, and yeah, uh, so just one moment. Just to give a little bit further information on who Oshun is the river goddess of Nigeria. They say that she still lives inside that cave today. Nigeria is toward the the north of the Nile River. And she has several husbands, more than one, but everyone is more aware of her marriage with Chang'o. She's the goddess of love, happiness, and also is owners of the sweet waters, which means rivers. Um, Her sister, she has more than one, but one of them, which is very popular, is her sister Yemaya, which is queen of the salt waters. Oshun's major shrine also is in Osogbo. Um, it's derived from the vocabulary of Oshun and Ogbo. Alright, so also her messenger is the crocodiles. Let me start speaking a little bit about her caminos. The first one that I want to talk about is Osun Ibu, inseparable from the vulture, whom which she works. Her name means one who picks through and recovers the garbage and powders, watches over the home, and lives in um, tinanga of clay, which is a clay pot. Um, She takes in her attributes, which are a porcelain or plastic, two pool balls, two mirrors, five feathers of a vulture, five mortars. You can find that inside a pharmacy. Um, and then the way that you decorate her altar for this camino is by putting the fan of the fan vultures in the background with white beads. And then you decorate it with the two balls, two mirrors, five feathers, the mortars. Um, all right. The way that you can find this Oshun too is near the stream. They say that she rolls around in the mud, almost in misery. Only owns one dress in this camino, which from washing it so much, it turned white from yellow. She is the highest of Age, which means witches, and is known to make and cast spells. The vulture is her symbol, and her also her messenger. They say in this camino she only does bad things. She eats with the vulture. She eats her offering also for this camino would be two goats, two black hens, or two black pigeons, or her guinea. Yes. All right. Moving on, her second one is Osun Olori, which means and is translated to revolutionary. She loves to fight with iron and machetes in this camino. She's a warrior. To call this Oshun, one must use cowbell and a machete. Her crown is adorned with corals. She also takes a deer antler covered in beads of orula. One puts a horse or bronze porcelain. She lives at the top of the Ifa table, which uh, the river drifts from. One puts scarves of silk and a broom and lettuce. Her symbol is the lechus. Her symbol is actually the lettuce. Her sopera is colors of green and red. Generally, in this camino, she does not like yellow. She takes five coral shells of aye. In this path, she resolves problems with children. she can resolve a problem for a child. She has a son in this camino whose name is Oloche. Um, um, the way that you can decorate this altar is by using a sewing basket, 5 needles, a thimble thread, and scissors, and antlers. Her colors in this camino are ivory, amber, and coral. Um, in this camino, they often portray her and think in this camino of the Virgen of the Guadalupe, which is the Mexican Virgin Mary. Okay. Um, Also, in this camino, once she possesses her children, you cannot raise from the floor until she says so. Like you will uh, get possessed and stay on the floor like a mermaid. Um, she also eats alone in this camino. She never is fed with any of the other orishas. The next camino that I'm going to talk about is Oshun Ibu Aaro, which means and is translated to Cornish hen, which is a quail. When Oshun comes down, one puts their finger in their ear and in their hand and on their head out of respect. Um, because in this camino, sometimes it's okay for her not to have a crown. She likes to eat with her sister in this camino, which are also in this camino. She likes her hens, her offerings to be grayish. Um, she takes a handband made in the form of a snake, the size of a child's head. She takes a manja snake, which is Maja, manja. She has a secret name known to her children, which she will reveal in this camino when she possesses. She takes 2 long spears, 2 large oars, 2 Cornish hens, a belt, a mirror, a sword, a needle, a fan, and a double axe, 10 bracelets, 10 arrows of a tulsi. She likes 5 scarves in green and yellow. Next to her sopera, she likes a sewing cushion, uh, a deer antler, a cowbell, and her baston of acaro that lives beside her. This baston is made of mandrel rubble. Um, in large ceremonies, they will feed Oshun and wash things with it. Um, the baston is called Akinoro, which symbolizes el igual. Okay, moving on to the next avatar, which is Osun Ibu Ana, which means everyone also when you think of Ibu Ana, think of the Ana drums. You know, the Ana drums are sacred to Oshun. Um, and Osun Ibu Ana is translated to owner of the drums. She is born at the Odun Otuporon Ogbe. Um, she lives in the top uh, dancing. She takes 3 drums in front of Osain. Her crown is the size of a person or a child's head. Um, you can give her 2 spears, 2 oars, 10 rings, and 10 fish hooks. Oshun's. Um, Also, Ibu Ana can also be translated to she who does not hear the drum but runs to it. One of the characteristics of this Oshun is to hear nothing. She will act deaf. One must ring 5 times the bell, the cowbell. And when you do this in this camino, uh, it's it's known that in this camino her children can ask her for help. but they must ring the bells. Um, the Ara, they call her Nauitito in this Camino because of the fact that she will only help you if you ring the bells. Because in this Camino, she pretends to be deaf. Um, the next one that I'm going to be speaking about is Oshun Ani, which is translated to Oshun who loves to argue. In this Camino, she's famous for arguing. She lives in Atinanja. She takes a fan of bronze covered in bells and caracoles. Others say that she will take a fan covered in 25 bells, 25 caracoles. But this fan is not given to her unless she asks for it. Another tool that she uses in this camino, where you can use to decorate the altar, is uh, a a sun, a moon, a machete, a sickle, and a hoe. Uh, her crown should look like have fans, feathers. A, all right. Also, when you're decorating her altar, you can use a cauldron, 5 rings, a snake, 5 feathers, a loto, a comb, a mortar, um, a half moon, a shovel, a small chair, a boat, sunflowers, a double axe scissors, and a ladder with 5 steps, a drum, and a mirror. So, again, Oshun Anai means, and it's translated to Oshun who loves to argue. Next one, Osun Ibu Yumu, which is translated to one echo is born from which the woman is not pregnant. Within the text of Oshun, they say that this Oshun is truly deaf. Uh, her characteristics are extremely beautiful, and she's beautiful when she comes, or if she possesses, but she will act deaf, like she cannot hear. Um, her altar and her attributes, when decorating the altar or making the crown, she will take in 5 bogles, um, a cowbell. They cover her in 5 scarves of silk, green and yellow. She also takes a machete, a horse, 10 bracelets, 25 arrows from Ochosi, 25 pieces of chain. One puts a basket full of everything to sew and knit to keep her busy. Um, Her animal and portrayal normally is the bees, but in this Camino Osun Ibu Yumu, it is the wasp. Um, also, the horse that she takes is called Alguero. She sits on a pilon of bronze. Also, in this Camino, to speak to her, you must go to the river and wait for 5 days for the river or the current to take in what you're giving her and asking for. One should also place a large axe next to her. She also is partnered with Osain in this camino. This camino is very important and very good for people who own businesses. If you have a business and you would like your business to flourish through and in this camino, you can speak to Oshun asking her to protect and bless your business. The next one is Osun Ibu Odonki, which means the Oshun lives where the river is born. Her name means stream. Ibu Odonki. She is the essence of the mud of the river. So the mud of the river is very important to her in this camino. She is the owner of all streams in this camino. She lives in a pilon. She takes in sewing and a cushion, a snake, a moon, two large spears, two oars, five arrows from Ochosi, and his sword. When decorating her crown, one can use those things or her altar. You can also put a moon and sun, three drums, five spears, five oars, um, a dagger. They also call her in this camino Tocago. Um, okay, moving on. The next one is Osun Ibu Ogale, and her name means lover of keys or owner of keys. In this camino, we can look at how normally Papalegba is represented with, and people know, road opener or key holder. Um, she is the lover of keys in this camino, which means she can open doors for you. Um, she she lives around roofing tiles, which you can use to decorate her altar. She's old already in this camino. She is a fighter still though. And this Oshun in this Camino, she does not like to be bothered with silly things, upset her very easily. Um, and also take into consideration that I just said that she is a fighter. So on top of the fact that she will not like to be bothered in this Camino, she also is a fighter. So she also has a machete, and in this Camino, you can use to decorate her altar a key, arrows from Rotosi, and armor because she is a fighter, a rake, a shovel. You can use well, you can use 10 bracelets also. In this, another way of telling this potion is the 10 bracelets. Next one I'm moving to is Osun Ibu Aanda, which is translated and means she who takes death. In the Odu and the reading, it will come out as well. This is something besides from just like if this comes out in the Odu, there's a way that it will come out. I will explain in another video. A way to decorate this altar in this camino, Oshun Ibu Akwanda, one can use 10 bases of jar. You can use a rocking chair because she lives in the chair in this camino. Um, in this camino, she was freed from Changol, from jail, after, I mean, in this camino, Oya frees Changol from jail, which Oshun placed Changol in jail, imprisoned him. That's some patakis. And that this is also when Chang'o goes and marries Oya or Yansa. But another thing, Oya leaves Chang'o in this camino, so Chang'o is actually sad because Oya also locks him up inside the prison where he's surrounded by death. Something Chang'o is very scared of. But they release him, making a deal that like Oshun and Oya make a deal that Chango can be husband to both women. Um, Her crown in this camino and her altar should have um, five crosses, five machetes that hang from it, five simple axes, 10 rings, a mirror, two combs, two spears. Um, Also, just so that you guys know, in this camino, it would be you can use cascarilla to decorate the altar because cascarilla is important to Oshun. She can use it for witchcraft. This is one of the ways that she unlocks things is by blowing cascarilla on it. So, you know, the next one that I'm going to be talking about is Oshun Ibu Adesa, which means she who has her crown secured, or others will say she who is crowned. In this Camino, normally you will see Oshun with the vulture or peacock. Many know, like I just mentioned, that in some of the Caminos, the wasp is actually sacred to her, not the bumblebee. In this Camino, the representation of Oshun will actually be the peacock, and her sopera should be covered with those peacocks, and so should her crown. She lives inside a basket covered in maribo. Um, the next one that I'm going to be speaking about is Osun Ibu Alade, which means she who is queens and has ties with Elegua. In this Camino, you can ask or pray for many things because of the fact that she is paired with Elegua, and Elegua is her best friend in this Camino, meaning that most of her spells will go through. Um, if she does not have Elegua, when you're decorating this altar for her, it won't nothing will work because she has to be paired with Elegua in this Camino. Um, she also in this Camino is a very hard worker, meaning that it will be good for almost anything because she's relentless in this Camino. She's constantly fighting night and day, and her colors will be yellow and green, and 15 loro feathers, which you can also cover them in 15 caracoles. Like you can use caracoles and the feathers. They call her Yisa in this Camino also. Okay, um, hold on. The next one that I'm going to be speaking about is Oshun Akuansan Odu, which means or is translated to she who is born dead from the river. She lives on a bilon. She is given the only way that you can work with her in this camino is if you actually go to the river and take 5 bottles of river water and use them to decorate the altar. Um, um, Something to take into consideration in this camino is that she is very good with working with the dead, necromancy. So in this camino, you will actually be able to work with spirits, since she is also a spirit in this camino, because as I just mentioned, Oshun Akuase Odu, which is translated to she who is born dead from the river. Okay, the next one that I'm going to be speaking about is Oshun Ibu Bumi. This, uh, this Oshun represents the shrimp of the river. Okay, yeah, this Oshun, her offering in this Camino, her offerings will be Rademus or whatever you want to call them, will be deer. Anything offered to her should be covered in cascarilla or something that's white because she will get offended if it's not white. Um, I'm not going to talk about the old. I'm not going to talk about caracoles right now or odu, but in every path that I have just explained, there's an odu that comes out for it, which is how you will know that this oshun is the one that you're with, or um, she also is paired with Elegua in this camino. Okay, her crown takes 101 pieces of bronze and 101 pieces of manila. So when you're decorating her crown or decorating her altar, those are the things that you will use. Um, the next Oshun that I'm going to be speaking about is Oshun Ibu Oni, which means she who carries honey in her heart. Um, this Oshun is actually of good character. She uses a baston when she comes down. She loves to have honey on her body. She lives near anything beautiful, like a rainforest or a forest in general, anything that has beautiful vegetation. Um, she also carries a snake around her in this camino. Things that you can use for her altar in this camino would be um, bronze in Manila, like 101 pieces of those, how I just explained in the other camino. 101 pieces of bronze in Manila. You can use those things to decorate. Um, the next Oshun that I'm going to be talking about is Oshun Ibu Mu, which means possesses the spirit of man. She is an authentic Amazonian warrior in this camino. She eats goats, um, and a specific type of goat. And her offering in this camino will be female goats. She will only take in female goats. She takes a chain around, when decorating, you will use a chain around the sopera. Also, Ogun's tools will be hung. Does whatever kind of work. You can go to her for anything in this camino. Also, she's very fierce and powerful. She rides an ostrich into battle. When she battles, she will even battle in water with the crocodile. You will also give a ladder, which will in the altar, which will allow for her to communicate with the crocodile. It's just weird, symbolism, but that's what the ladder and the decorations will actually symbolize. Um, she is found in the lagoon. She's always in company with Babaluaye or Asuhuano, which is the Orisha of pandemics. And she is also with Inle, which is warrior of the forest. Um, this will also mean that, uh, like I just mentioned, she is a fierce warrior. Well, you can just imagine how fierce she is if she's with Inle and Babaluaye or Asohuano. Um, this is also why the chain is kept around the soperado. You can give her also a cup of ipu and oti in front of the sopera, which are drinks. Um, Also, you will feed Osain in this camino next to her. The next Oshun camino that I'm going to be speaking about is Oshun Ita Tinimu, which is she who is leader of society, which you can go to her for many things. This is an important path for women, especially if you're studying and let's say it's time for you to take that leap into your career, or you're just like getting into your career in general, because she's the head of society, leader of society. Osain is with her in this camino, so he's accompanied by Osain. This Oshun only will come out at night, and she likes boats given to her. Um, in this camino, so you could use for the altar and decorations, you can use a few bolts and then take into consideration that she will only come out at night. Her color in this camino is white, coral black, and colors of orula. You can also use in this camino, very important, you can use a thunderstone in the altar if you can purchase one or you want to work with her in this camino. Just keep into consideration that you can use the thunderstone. Um, The next one that I'm going to be talking about is Oshun Ibu Aremu Kondiamu, which means Oshun of the mountain. Um, she's Um, in this Camino, she's a mysterious Oshun. They say she and Obatala are together in this Camino. Um, in decorating her altar in this Camino, you can go for her to this Camino. In this Camino, she will answer prayers of money, like money related problems, because she helps um, people pay for ceremonies of Ocha. Like she's been known in this Camino, people go to her to ask her or if they have money problems for help. Um, she takes a deer in this offering. And one should cover the offerings in cacao and cascarilla, which is chocolate comes from cacao, the cacao, you grind it up. And um, she is also in this Camino, she's head of IFA, which makes her very smart psychic wise. The next ocean that I'm going to be talking about is Ocean Ibu Semi, which you can find her and go to her uh, in the river, in the small inlets of the river. That's where you can find her, go to leave her offering. Um, one should, and when decorating her altar, one should put a rock of copper. Um, the next Oshun that I'm going to be talking about is Oshun Ibu Fonda, which is translated to Oshun who died with Inle. She's a warrior and carries a sword. She takes a doll covered with white dots and loto feathers on the head. That's what her aremu, some of her aremus or offerings and when decorating the altar should be half oranges with sandalwood. The next Oshun that I'm going to be talking about is Oshun Ibu Odoko. In this Camino, she is a tough Oshun, she's a warrior, she's a fighter. She's always in compañía with Orisha Oko, which is some people will know the Mexican Orisha is he's not in all culture of Santeria Candomblé, but Orisha Oku is her best friend in this Camino, and they are farmers. Uh, when decorating the altar, one should take take a doll and cover it in beads. Um, Specific, like with colors, use white. White and red. Another Camino of Oshun, and the one that I'm going to be talking about next, is Oshun Ibu Awayumi Yemi. Okay, in this Camino, Oshun is also blind, like I mentioned earlier. In some of her Caminos, she is deaf, hard of hearing. In this Camino, she cannot see. Um, she in this Camino is married to Babaluaye, and she lives with him, or you can call him Asohuano and Orula. When decorating the altar, you can use bronze canes and horses. The next Oshun that I'm going to be talking about next is Oshun Ibu Edere Lekun, which means Oshun who lives in the caves. Okay, not just any cave. It will be specifically a cave near, excuse me. It will be specifically caves near the ocean, like not a cave in the forest. You have to go to her, and it will be a cave near the ocean. And specifically, you will try to find a cave where the water is still hitting. Um, in this Camino, she dances and she is owner and controls the tambor, which is tambourine. Um, she also, though it's a little bit sad in this Camino, she is deformed in the face, and she wears a mask. So you will also, in decorating the altar, you will have a mask specific. Um, The next ocean that I'm going to be talking about, or camino or path, is Osun Ibu Inare, which is daughter to Ibu Ana. I recently was speaking about Ibu Ana, where the sacred drums are the not the sacred drums, but the Ana drums are sacred to her. In this Camino, she is powerful and she's very rich with money. You will find her in the uh, inside the sand near the beach. Like you literally, that's where you will go to her and find her. Um, so leaving the offering, decorating the altar, you will leave your offering in the beach on the sand. The next ocean that I'm speaking about is Osun Ibu Agandara, where I mentioned earlier some of the caminos or paths of Oshun. She is represented as an old woman in this camino. She also sits in a chair and she carries a log. One should put a lot of names on it. She has in this Camino, she's very powerful for things of love. Like you can go to her and ask her for things of love, especially because she has the lock. She can lock in things. The next Oshun that I'm going to be speaking about, or Camino, and the last Camino is Oshun Arroyo Obi. Okay. Um, in this Camino or path, and when decorating her altar, giving her offerings, one should give her salmon, which is one of her favorite foods in this Camino. One will also leave the offering in the sand. And by the way, just so that you guys know, the reason why sand is Olokun gave the sand to Oshun. You will use caracoles in decorating the altar. And oh no, I just thought of something. I know that I said it was the last camino, but there's one more camino that I'm going to be speaking about, which is Obu Singan. Which means Queen of Coqueteria, which just means one who laughs, dance, read fortunes, coqueteria. And she's very powerful in this Camino also because she is queen. That is the last Oshun Camino that I'm going to be talking about. Something else that I just wanted to mention or speak about for a moment is um, is something that I often hear about, or Ori, like just so that you guys know, Ori literally means head and refers to one's spiritual intuition and destiny. So each Orisha has an Ori from which the person can use. Like their Ori will come from that. Um, and Aje means witches, just so that you guys know also. Oh, I just looked at the camera, so okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and the reason why I made this video is because I hear a lot of people talk about Oshun, but they don't speak about her different avatars or caminos, and like, yes, you can, any day of the year, you can make a simple offering of a honey jar for Oshun, and pray to her, but uh, it's a little bit more in depth once you get into initiations or you're crowned Oshun, things like that, because she has caminos, paths, or different avatars, um, which is the simplest way that I think I can put it so that you guys understand. Alrighty, guys, bye.